Fred drove over soda cans, discarded window flyers, and wrappers from stolen merchandise on his way to the rear of the parking lot in front of the department store. He drove in circles for a minute before finding a parking spot that wasn't directly visible from the store entrance, or lit by the streetlights dotting the lot with bats flapping around them. They were left unable to see out his heavily tinted windows once he turned off the key and killed the headlights. Just enough light made it through the tinting for them to see each other's features. "Finally, man!" Baggy dug his glass pipe out of a pocket and tapped it against his palm to make sure it was clear to smoke from. The slick glass slipped from his fingers and fell to the floorboard, where it shattered on the railing that stuck out from under one corner of the passenger seat. Fred spun to him. His eyes were so wide they almost glowed in the dim light. "Are you with them now?" Baggy frowned, looking down at the floorboard and then back up to Fred. "No, man. Fuck you thinking, man?" Fred tapped his temple with one finger. "I think they got to you. That's what I think. They implanted transmitters in your head to make you fuck our shit up." Baggy's mouth dropped open and a couple seconds passed before he replied. "You really think so? What should I do about it?" Andrew sat up in the back seat and pointed a forefinger at Fred. "You're a nutcase," and he pointed his other forefinger at Baggy. "And you're an idiot." He pulled his left arm back and held out his right palm. "Give me that broken ass shit." Baggy gathered up the largest pieces of the pipe and set them in Andrew's palm. Fred turned around in his seat and sneered at Andrew. "Are you one of them too? Shut up and hand me that piece of gum." Fred stared at Andrew for another full second before giving him the gum from his center console. Andrew sat back in the seat, working in the darkness. "Pen?" Baggy pulled a ballpoint pen from the glove box and handed it back. Light sounds of tinkling glass filled the interior of the car. "Past due bill?" The plastic shopping bag with a handle draped over the shifter column rattled, drowning out the sound of Andrew's task as Fred dug through it until he found an envelope to pass to the rear. "This isn't even open." "That's why it's past due, man," Baggy said. Fred slapped the steering wheel with one palm. "Fucking fascists want to turn off our electric." Andrew groaned and went back to work. "You really think they're in my head, man?" Baggy squinted at himself in the rearview mirror. Fred stabbed himself in the temple with his finger. "They're trying to get into all our heads." Andrew groaned again, louder. "Did they really get me?" Confusion filled Baggy's face and colored his voice. Fred narrowed his eyes suspiciously at him. "Probably." "Shut up, you two." Andrew set a foot-tall glass bong on the center console. "Now we can smoke." "It's not as good as last time," Baggy and Fred said at the same time. Andrew looked from the bong and then to each of them. "Fuck you, assholes." "You're losing it, man," Baggy shrugged. "But I'll pack that thing." Fred looked at Andrew in the rear view. "They're getting into your head." Andrew rolled his eyes. "At least mine's not done fucked." Baggy finished filling the bowl and sparked his lighter up to take a huge hit before handing the bong to Fred. "They've got you," Fred whispered as he brought the bong to his mouth. He passed it to the back seat after taking a hit. Andrew held up two fingers over the bowl to keep it going as he inhaled the smoke deep into his lungs. He broke into a coughing fit with Fred as he reached the bong up to Baggy. "Pussies." Baggy exhaled his first hit and immediately took another before passing it along. Fred waved a middle finger in Baggy's face as he took the smoking instrument once more. Andrew waved at the smoke hanging in the air. "We don't smoke all damn day like you do." He took another hit from the offered bong and passed it to Jesus. Jesus took an impossibly long hit and then handed the bong up to Baggy. "You two are still pussies." Smoke puffed from his lips with each word. Fred and Andrew stuck their middle fingers in Jesus' face as he slowly exhaled. "Your brains are fried." Fred waved at the dense smoke held inside the car from the windows being closed tight. "I don't think I need any more." "Told you," Jesus laughed. Fred glared at Jesus in the rear view as he took another hit before passing it to the back seat. Andrew didn't even take a full hit before he was coughing and pushing the bong towards Jesus again. They turned to Jesus, watching him light the bowl with a glowing fingertip. Their eyes were as wide as platters. Jesus pulled the bong from his mouth and looked around at the three of them. "What are you all looking at me like that for?" Baggy rubbed his eyes and blinked. What a crazy-ass flashback. The doors unlocked and locked again as Fred pushed on the switch. "Where'd the homeless dude come from? Who the hell let him in?" "No way this is real." Andrew touched everything around him while speaking. "Sure it is, man. That's the stereotypical Western image of someone who had to have been Middle Eastern. It's gotta be real. Baggy nodded to each of them in turn. Fred laughed. The concept of Jesus is something that's been force-fed to you every Christmas since you were old enough to be indoctrinated. He does seem real enough. Andrew poked Jesus in the shoulder with his finger. Do one of you fuckers put some of that fake shit in the bowl? Are we having a group seizure? Jesus sighed. Don't you assholes know what a divine sight is when you see one? So you're homeless and crazy. Fred rubbed his chin. They sure got to you. Jesus finished taking his hit and handed the bong to Baggy, talking as smoke boiled from his face. I'm on vacation and decided to swing by Earth. Andrew grunted. Why would you want to do that? Jesus shrugged. It's the only place Dad put weed. Tobacco too, but that was a joke. What was the joke? Baggy tilted his head to the side, holding the bong just short of his lips. Jesus laughed. Tobacco? That shit'll fucking kill ya. Now weed, you can use that for anything. The three stoners looked away to hide the looks on their faces. You do power and make most of everything from it, right? I got sent to jail for a dime bag, man, Baggy said. The oil and pharmaceutical companies sponsor lobbyists that help keep it illegal so they can push their poison products on the world, Fred said. Sea mammals eat plastic in the oceans and starve to death with full stomachs. There's something like 60 plus gender pronouns because people can't figure out what type of junk is between their legs. And colleges have become propaganda centers pushing unscientific principles alongside political theories that have killed millions. Andrew counted his points on fingers as he spoke. That's just some of the stupider things going on. Shock spread over Jesus' face in the dim light. Is this some kind of goddamn joke? Fred laughed derisively. You should know this if you're really Jesus. He made quotes with his fingers. When's the last time you tried to keep up with all the news in the universe? Doesn't God tell you, man? The bong in Baggy's hand had been momentarily forgotten and his lighter had fallen to the floor. Dad is itching to drown your asses again. I was wondering why. I thought it'd be because of the endless wars and threat of nuclear annihilation, Fred answered. Jesus Christ. Jesus coughed the rest of his last hit from his lungs. People don't know their gender and want to blow up the world? Andrew nodded. See, if enough people die, we can have peace. Fred shrugged. It's funny how people stop killing each other once enough have dropped. Baggy shook his head sadly. It's the way of the world as long as there are people around, men. Jesus looked at them each in turn with his mouth gapped open and his eyes so wide all the white showed. You fuckers are crazier than the assholes that crucified me. He raised a hand and prepared to snap his fingers. Learn to swim. He snapped and disappeared, accompanied by a pop as air rushed into the gap he had left. Fred and Andrew looked around in amazement. Wow, what a flashback, man, Baggy said, rubbing his eyes.